Good evening. You're muted. Don't hear you. You're muted.
John wanted to be.
I believe. I believe. I believe. I believe. I believe. Say y'all. I believe. Come on, let your feet get heavy. Let's go. Let's go. Come on.
John, what did you do? Join this one and dancing.
Somebody make some noise in here. Come on, catch it, Jehovah. Jehovah. I trust in you. In you. Oh Lord, say it.
Oh Lord.
Jehovah, you. I trust in you. I believe. Say it. Everybody say it. I believe you. I trust in you.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Yo. Why you cut off, man?
You want to hear some more?
Yeah, we want to hear some more, man.
Man, I'm sorry you missed it. I'll play some more for you in a minute.
What type of crap is this?
I'll play some more in a minute. I'm sorry. Let me play a little bit more. Just for John, I'm gonna play just a little bit more. You listening, John?
Yeah, I can't hear you.
You are the God of power. I believe. I believe. I believe. Now everybody get radical with those seconds. Come on. From the devil's head. Come on. Come on. Y'all ain't radical enough over here. Balcony, I can't feel ya. Move the beat. Everybody, let's go. I see you back there. Balcony, y'all gotta come on.
Yeah, you know,
Villagers, I just want to let you know when you say I believe Kyle Rittenhouse will be acquitted. That's what I believe.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that's what I believe.
Welcome.
I believe that's what I believe. He will be acquitted based upon what I have so far seen. What's going on in that case? I believe he will be acquitted, or there will be, whether the judge loves him or not. I believe he will be acquitted. I also believe that in the Aubrey's case, all those three individuals will be found guilty in the Aubrey case. And you know what I believe? I believe that this is what Cy Vance did today, Manhattan DA did today. This is why we should abolish the death penalty. Because if those individuals were sentenced to death and were executed, how could we bring them back? So that's what I believe. Just throwing it out there. Good evening, Dr. Brian. How are you?
Good evening.
What do you believe, Dr. Brian?
I believe God is good.
Before Dr. Brian says good evening, let me just welcome everyone to the Village Talk Show. Joining us live right here on GD Radio 92.1 FM. You catch us on almost all of our media outlets on Instagram at the Village Talk Show, on YouTube at the Village Talk Show, on Facebook, the Village Talk Show on Facebook, on my Facebook page, on John Sampson's Facebook page, on Dr. Joanne Bryant's Facebook, Andre Doman. I don't know where I got Andrew from. Andre Doman and Sophia Willisey. Where the Village we're all about the community. We're dedicated to empower the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education, helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any age and at any point, starting from today, knowing that success is not just spoken, it is done. What are you doing to be successful? Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Brian, you came on today dancing and singing. Are you going to tell me the same ridiculous line that you say every week when somebody asks you how you doing?
God is good. He is good all the time.
That line is great. I'm talking about. I'm
hallelujah,
talking about,
hallelujah. That's it.
Right? You like. I don't know how you taught, yo. How you taught?
What?
How you taught?
Guitar?
How you taught? Because I want to know how you don't delve into the knowledge of the students. You just stop that. Okay.
God is good.
Man, speak English, man. I don't know what you're talking about. The knowledge of the what?
Of the student. You can't just say, oh, the student goes, how are you today, John? I'm fine. Why are you fine? I'm bad.
What's wrong with
Oh,
that?
what's wrong? What do you mean what's wrong with that?
I don't understand what you're
That's
talking
a shut
about.
up answer, man.
That's you.
How are you going to
answering
deal with the
question.
social emotional needs of your
So
student?
why don't you say, how are you feeling? Can you explain to me? Can you express to me your feelings?
Go ahead, Dr. Brian. You heard the question.
That wasn't a question. I'm just saying.
Nah,
that's the question
Dr. Brian,
that's
that's
the question.
Wait,
I didn't
wait,
raise that
no,
question.
no, no.
I didn't raise that question, Dr. Brian.
Dr. Brian, that's the question. Express
Question
to
for
us
you.
how you feel today and why.
Actually, I am feeling great right about now.
You said that already.
No. There's a reason why I'm feeling great. Relax. Hold your horses. Chill out.
Oh, back up, boy. Back up.
Yeah, little feisty one. All right.
So, I had a long day, but it's over. And just at the end of the day,
I hate to
receiving
remind
some
there's about 4.8 hours left in the day.
of my work day.
Just check it.
Okay, my work day. Yes, I start at 6:30 and then I finish late in the evening. So it's good to exhale, you know. And then to get something that I worked on last minute on the way to the airport in Florida, it was great to hear the end result. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited.
So are you
Mhm.
gonna leave us in
Yes.
in captivity?
Yes.
You're gonna leave us in captivity?
At the end.
Captivity, what?
Me? Wait. Hold on.
Yes.
Marvelous Marvel. I am spicy today. Oh, you didn't hear how Dr. Brian started. Hey, Simone. Hey, Ruby. Welcome
Good
everyone.
evening. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to give a shout out to one of our listeners, also one of my partners, Marissa. Today is her birthday, giving her a shout out because she
Go.
is
You go, girl.
Harry. You are fabulous.
Marissa, I'm having this for you. Cheers.
So yeah.
And I bought it right from Trinidad. You know what it is, right? It's from Trinidad. You know what it is. Right?
This damn water from New York City. Come here.
From the fridge door with ice.
So and I
John, you gotta blow me up like that.
you know what? I also have to give a shout out to a producer who last minute, Lionheart, you are fabulous. Last minute pulling on his, 7:00 in the morning, creating sounds and beats and just saying, hey, we're gonna do this. I gotta give a shout out to him. And also
So wait. Andre said that you need to stop talking.
No.
Okay.
All right, wait, hold on. No, wait. I'm gonna tell exactly what Andre said.
Okay.
He said, "Do it later. Stop talking about it. Do it later."
Okay. See?
So stop talking because
No,
you're not saying.
no,
Hold on,
no.
wait.
No.
Let
You
me
asked
have
me
Dr. Brian. I want to have it.
No, he gotta be okay. I'm done. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm done.
All right,
When I
let's go
give
back
you
to what John was
answers-
talking about.
When
Right?
I give you your answers, you asked me how I felt. I told you how I felt. So now you want me to cut it down. I'm done.
No.
Yes,
Yo.
I'm done.
Wait. He just said stop talking about that specific topic because you're gonna get
No,
a chance.
that's how I was feeling. You asked me how I
So
was
that's
feeling.
what you're okay. So that's the excitement.
That's it.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time on The Village, we're gonna open with Dr. Bryant being very excited, and we're gonna close with Dr. Bryant being really excited. You're gonna see this at the end, John. Like we've been looking forward to this for a donkey years. Look at John. John's like, I'm saying,
rolling my eyes.
rolling my eyes.
Anyway.
Right now, but in all seriousness,
You
go.
said my words incorrectly. Just keep that in mind.
Okay, you heard that right. Andre's defending himself. He said Roderick said my word incorrectly. So we're talking about Kyle Rittenhauser,
Mhm.
right? And I mean, you brought several cases, high profile. Four actually, there was Ahmaud Arbery,
Rittenhouse.
The
The
Malcolm X, and the Julius Jones.
yeah, Junior
Julius
Jones.
Right. So I'll start with the Julius Jones, and then we can work the way in from there, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, just for all of you, Julius Jones, which is really strange. And John started with that, and I guess we'll go to Malcolm. You can talk about the Malcolm X case after, wherein they had a stay at the 23.59 hour on Julius Jones in Oklahoma, and say that they have commuted his sentence from the death penalty
To life without parole.
to life without parole. But what I don't know. I have to look it up a little bit more. But they're saying that the governor is saying that he cannot see the light of day. Like he can't be outside.
He will not see the light of. He will not see the light of day. However, if there is exculpatory evidence that comes up, basically this gives his team an opportunity to continue to investigate and find the information that is needed so he can be fully exonerated from the crime he has been first of all alleged and then convicted of. So this is what it's all about. This is about buying time. The governor can say that he is life without parole, will never see the light of day. However, if there is evidence saying the contrary, at that point in time, Mr. Jones will be released from prison. But this is all about buying time.
But you know what was interesting? I was perusing through the article. They said that the parole board actually basically said that he shouldn't be executed multiple times. And the last one coming, I think it was November 1st.
The parole board said he should be executed.
No, they said no.
Okay.
They said that they voted 3-1 that he should not be executed. And you know, John, that's one of the reasons, Dr. Bryant and John, that I don't believe in the death penalty, because too many times.
I agree.
And the people at the other end of the stick normally are.
Well, look at the Malcolm X case.
Yeah, that's
the perfect example is the Malcolm X case, in which 1965 these gentlemen were convicted of a crime that they actually did not commit. However, they served substantial decades in prison. One died in 2009, and one still alive. He's 83 years old. However, if in fact they were executed,
now what would happen?
What would you say? You would just say sorry.
But here's messed up thing.
And what's interesting, what's interesting, what's even more is the federal government, the FBI had 2 individuals in the crowd that evening. Never came forward and provided that information. So this is how devious the federal government. It concluded that the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the New York Police Department had been given to the offense. The trial would likely have gone different. This is evidence that they had. This is the epitome of, there's when you have exculpatory evidence, you have to hand it over to.
Yeah, you talk about me last week, my big words in self-actualization. What is exculpatory evidence? What does that mean?
That means free. It means free. That means evidence to the contrary. Evidence to the contrary that can impact the jury's decision in your case. I know what freedom is priceless, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you know what? As we talk about this case, right?
But we're talking about 1965.
Exactly. It's 56 years.
But remember the time frame where you were, you're switching over in regards to, we're still dealing with discrimination. So even if they had evidence, they wouldn't share that because
I don't know if it's that they wanted evidence. I don't know if it's that they wanted evidence. I think they wanted Malcolm X, just like Martin Luther King. No. Well,
yes. We want to know who killed Malcolm X.
No. The fact of the matter is, I believe it's like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy. I'm not saying they're not the same persons. That's not the point of what my next comment. But it was so high profile that they wanted to say.
Roger, why don't you say what you don't want to say? But
I think they just wanted to pin it on somebody.
Bottom line is that the federal government played some role in each of those executions.
Exactly.
That's what it is. So let's just cut to the chase.
I'm not going to do all the way.
They knew what was going on. The federal government.
Good evening, Annette. Good evening. And the CIA. Simone pointed out the CIA wasn't innocent.
Simone, you're correct. The CIA, the FBI, Roderick Daly, yeah, definitely. All
I wasn't
involved
around in
in
1963.
You know what I'm saying? All
right?
involved in the
No,
conspiracy.
but you know, a lot of times when you have these high profile cases, you want to say this person's. You want to make sure that I
Exactly.
solved it.
Pin
I
it on
did this.
someone.
I
Right.
gotta pin it on somebody. I
Mhm.
mean, you know, it's very sad. It's very very
That's why
sad to see.
that's why they say snitches get stitches.
Yeah, my son says that. I hate that stupid expression.
I,
There's no
I
such
hate
thing
that.
as
I hate that. I
I hate
hate
that
that
expression too,
slogan.
but
I really, really
we
hate.
can hate the expression,
Yeah,
but
but
those who are willing to provide information to assist themselves, and the information is incorrect, and people go to jail for the rest of their lives, or they get executed. What do we do with those individuals?
I think
What
they-
do we do with
so here's the
what do
thing.
we do with what do we do with the officers the law enforcement officers who
fabricated.
who fabricate that information? So I mean, come on.
No, I agree. I agree. Well, they probably, you know what's messed up about this, and that's not the word I'm thinking of. You know what's messed up though?
What?
56 years. I don't know if these people had children. I don't know if they had anything at all, but they never had a chance. Because even if they had kids, those kids were young, so they never had a chance to have a family. And no amount of money, no amount of freedom is going to give them back the prime of their lives.
Well,
That's
give him
true.
some money. Give him something.
Well, what's the money going to do? He's 83
Well,
years
you know
old.
what? He can pass that money to his.
And the other one is dead.
Right? But
Well, you can give that money to the family.
no,
and
no,
the family can do what
I
they need to do
agree
with
that
it.
what's going to happen is that they are going to give them some kind of remuneration. I do believe that's going to happen. But I'm just saying that can't buy back the time.
It could never buy back the time, but hopefully we can chart a more productive future for their family.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ahmaud Arbery case.
Man, did you hear that guy get on the witness stand?
He sound
today?
like an idiot.
He wanted to protect his son. His son was nowhere to be. First
No,
of
it
all,
wasn't his
he
son.
had to
His
stop
son was
some-
the one who got on the witness stand.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Yeah.
No,
He was
here's
an
the thing.
idiot.
No, the father was saying that
You're
his son was a
running and
military guy
somebody
and some crap.
stop you or slow you down. I don't know who you are. I'm not gonna slow down. I'm gonna keep going. And then you pull out a gun on him. That's a no-no. I would knock you out. Period. We're gonna fight. So here it is. I agree with fighting back because you don't know if they're Ku Klux Klan or whatever. That's what's in his mind. The poor gentleman who died, in his mind, like, oh my God, these guys are gonna try to murder me. And here it is. They did. So now he's talking
That's a
about he's
damn
thinking about
shame.
his
That
son.
case is a damn shame.
His son was nowhere to be found. He's scared of his life. You pull out a gun on someone and then you're scared. You're an idiot.
That's why I said that case and the Rittenhouse case is a little bit different, because if you look at the video, and this is what bothers me with the mainstream media, they jump upon the bandwagon and they mischaracterize the entire case. Because when you look at the video,
Wait, Simone, explain something to you.
nah, John, when they say snitches get stitches, they're referring to if you know something bad happened and reported it to your stitches. Example, ratting out a drug deal in the hood. I don't know about that, Simone. I mean,
That's what
we
snitches is.
got a different understanding of what that means. But
I agree with what Simone is saying.
are we gonna fight tonight, Doc? I think we're gonna fight tonight.
Your reference. Here's the thing: if you actually saw something go down, and someone's being pinned, an innocent person is being pinned on it, are you gonna allow the innocent person to spend years, like this individual spend years? You know, those two individuals who were convicted of the Malcolm X murder, but they actually were not guilty. That's the thing.
Doc, I'm with you.
No,
with respect
but
to that,
the opposite, John.
The
Go with-
opposite is those individuals
Could have been
who
threatened.
have no involvement in any sort of crime, who then, because they may be picked up by the police, they then say, well, let me refer you to something else that's going on that they never had any involvement, but they know information about, to get themselves out of a predicament that individual had nothing to do with. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about actually seeing something happen and transpire. Of course, you should let them know, because that could be there before the grace of God. That could be you, your family member. You daggone right, you let them know. You intervene, you do what you have to, because we in the city, sometimes we see what's going on. We don't want to intervene, But if that was my mother, that was my daughter, I would want, or someone who I love, I would want somebody to intervene. I've intervened in incidents where I had no business intervening, but at the same time, I said, there before the grace of God, I could go. So then let me intervene. But God watches over fools
And
and,
A
children.
lot
and,
of
and
people.
children, and I'm a fool.
And I'm a child. You know, they,
And Doc is just shaking her head. She disagrees.
Kyle,
All right, Doc.
it was funny. My aunt, there's a app called Clubhouse or something like that. Is that what it is?
Yes, it's a
And
great
so
one.
my aunt had a chat room today, and I was listening to some of it, and they were talking about the Kyle Rittenhouse case. And there was one dude on it. He was white, and he was talking about, if you came up to me, if you had a gun and you try to hurt me, no, he said a couple of things that were interesting. One, he said, so the black dude goes, no, I don't threaten nobody. If I tell him I'm gonna shoot you, I'm gonna shoot you. The white dude goes, we say that all the time. We don't, because that's what the defense was saying, that Kyle was just saying about the guy on the card, that he was gonna shoot him, right? Or something, if he had a
And
gun.
he did kill the guy.
No. Prior to that, a few days or 10 days, so few days before, he had made mention that he would have shot somebody who had a car, who was sitting on the car, because the prosecution was trying to prove that he had intentions of protecting property, and you're not supposed to use deadly force to protect property unless it's your own property.
I love when
But those are two arguments. But he's gonna get scot-free. Yeah, Doc.
I love when they asked, did you have a phone? And he was like, yeah, why didn't you call the police? They think they're the police, which is ridiculous. They are not.
Listen, I gotta tell you the truth, man. You black, white, or pink. If you pull a gun on me, I have a gun, I'm gonna shoot you. You black, white, or pink.
And then they talk about the prosecution, the skateboard. A guy hit you in the head with a damn skateboard.
I don't care what
think's gonna happen.
I'm gonna shoot you.
A skateboard is a deadly
weapon. Yep. It's you the wrong time, wrong place.
Yeah.
I'm killing you. I'm shooting you. I'm telling you up front. Because it's what.
However,
it's either you or me.
What the judge gave the prosecution a bone when he asked the jury, in order for them to even get to self-defense, they have to get over the threshold of whether or not there was provocation. So if they feel that Kyle provoked this incident, then he loses the ability.
I didn't hear him say that. Did the judge say that?
Yes. Then he loses the ability of arguing self-defense. He gave the prosecution a bone, which I don't think he should have given him a bone.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
But you know what? After going through that trial and looking at what transpired, the mainstream media really did a disservice to us.
Always.
They did a disservice to us. They did not.
Because again, what are they trying to do? And what sells? Violence and sex sells.
I agree with violence and sex sells, but don't try to change the narrative, because if this was a person of color, they wouldn't even care what transpired. If a person of color killed two other people of color, this wouldn't transpire the way it happened. This whole thing is because of the violence that went on because of the whole Trump situation. This is purely political. So at the end of the day, I don't care about, we can talk about Biden's $1.2 trillion infrastructure, but what we need to understand is that the complete the racial undertone that exists in this country, it is getting worse. It is not getting any better. And this is what Biden said. This is why we should elect him as opposed to Trump. However, to me, it has been worse under Biden.
I don't know about that.
I'm just telling you.
I don't know about that.
Worse with every one of them.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I think that people are not realistic. They're not realistic. For example, Trump went in 2016 to talk about an infrastructure bill. Who was that infrastructure bill for? Right? Biden actually got a $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill passed. Now, I understand that this, but let's really think about it.
I agree with you, Charmaine. It is certainly getting worse. Yes,
Right?
it is, Charmaine.
Right? I'm not saying I don't know if it's getting worse, but when you look at last year, the police brutality, the rogue police officers, the violence that
But
happened.
hold on, but Simone,
Oh,
Simone, you are right. Let's not talk about Biden and his money-filled promises. Biden and them promised so much, you know, and it's true that we did get the 1.2 trillion. But look how, you know, let me hold on, Bajie, before you get into it. And Doc, I want you to input
because
on this.
I want to combine all of the public
there
safety
was
thing
really
with
a
Biden. I
conversation.
want to come back together all of that.
The Democrats cannot govern. The Democrats cannot govern. The Republicans, they know how to govern, and you know what? They are not scared to make the decisions.
I don't agree with you.
Okay.
Dude, I don't believe I don't believe that Democrats cannot govern.
Democrats cannot govern because there is constant friction between one another. Tell me how they can govern. How long it took the 1.2 trillion? I mean, non-filled promises. True that. Definitely.
Right. So what do you mean by the problem with Democrats? Not that they cannot govern.
They can't govern.
I think they're too crab in a barrel. I don't know about they can't govern.
That means because of lack of discipline. In order to be able to govern, you have to be disciplined in understanding what the common goal and purpose of the Democratic Party is or what it will be. That's why they have lost the interest of the independents. That's why they got slaughtered. Let me tell you something, especially in New York City. You see how Long Island went? Long Island went Republican.
I don't think New York City is going to go Republican. But
What I'm telling you, I think if we don't watch it, there could be a Republican governor in 2023.
2022. But
2023.
That's when they take office. Yeah, that's when they take office. See, the Democrats, I do agree. I think they need to come. They have to be more cohesive, right? They're always trying to create their own. Like, if you think about it right now, with the Republican Party, you have the conservatives, the libertarian, which is garbage, right? But the conservatives just have a hold. But the conservative vote with the Republicans. With the Democrats, you have the Green Party. You have the what is the one? I don't pay rent, but that one kind of
you got every damn party when it comes to Democrats.
Right? Yeah, the Working Families Party, because they want to create their own power.
You got the Socialist Party.
Yeah, and all of them want to put their own candidates up for every office. I want to run my own president. Look at the bar president office just now. Like, people didn't even stand a chance.
But it's the
but we should allow people to run because it's a democracy.
Well, it's the same thing with the mayor's office. You know, so many people were running. We couldn't even keep count of how many people were running for.
Yeah, but it's just pathetic. When you look at the Republicans move as one freaking unit.
That's true.
As one unit, because they understand what it is to possess the power. Because
everybody can eat. That's the one thing about, and that's the one thing I like about the Republicans. I might be at the top, but you follow me, you're gonna eat too. With the Democrats, it's I want to eat, but I might give you a little. What is it called? A morsel?
Crumbs,
what is that? What is it called? Crumbs. As long as I'm eating, I could eat like a fat. What is it? Thanksgiving coming up, so I'll have a juicy big turkey, but I give you a bird. Not even a pigeon. I won't even give you a pigeon. I give you like a hummingbird.
The Republicans are ruthless. They are ruthless. You know, I don't know why we can't be ruthless too. I would be ruthless. I said, you don't want to. You voted against the infrastructure. Hold on. You voted against the infrastructure. So what I would do is, I got that money. I would make sure all the projects in the Democratic communities
get funded.
Get funded.
Guess what the Democrats going to do?
It's
about the 50 states. Dude, you will never win Alabama. You will never win Tennessee. You will never. Should I keep going? But they want to put all. Yeah. But you're not going to win them over.
No. We may not win them over, but everybody's deserving of getting a piece.
That's
however, It's how we distribute the piece and when the piece is distributed.
You know, I got some. Maybe I could get Congresswoman Yvette on. Maybe we'll talk about it for a couple of weeks.
We can talk that.
Yeah, we can talk to her. See what's going on, right?
What do you think, Doc? Come on, Doc. Chime in on this. What are your thoughts?
You know, a lot of it's going to go into cannabis building.
Let's hear Doc. Let's hear Doc.
A lot of it's going to go into cannabis building, the cannabis industry.
See, Doc, it wasn't me. And you putting the weed. I'm not putting the weed in the coconut. Wait.
You know, my mom said my mom was mimicking all three of us, right? All three of us on the air, and I got to fix it too, right? She goes, John is like this. Joanne is like this. And you're like this. So now I got to tell you, that's exactly that. There you go with the hand to the back of the head. That's exactly what she did. I'll tell you, I was dying. My mom is like, yeah, Dr. Brian. She's always like this. And John is always back here, like just lounging, and you were like right here. All right, Ma. All right, hold on. Let me jack it up. Let me jack it up. All right, Ma. All right, Ma. Let me. She was like laughing. She was dying. She's like, ah. But so what we were talking about, just
You're right, Eddie.
Just wait
until the governor's race, because we have so many people already running.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I wanted to go into a different thing, but let's talk about that for a minute, right? Right now, Jamani just announced. Tish James announced. Kathy Hochul announced. Well, yes, she's current governor. She's not going to be like a David Patterson, who's only, you know, I'm only doing this and then quit, right? But I take drugs. That was David Patterson.
Yeah, no, hold on.
Wait, I got to tell you a joke about David Patterson. Go ahead. Let me tell you the joke first, right? So, Governor,
don't talk about Patterson and drugs, don't.
No. You gotta hear this.
That's not true.
So we had Chambers Street, right? We had Chambers Street and Broadway. I don't know if you remember. There's a Citibank like right at the corner of Chambers Street. Citibank or Chase, one of those two banks, right there. So he's there, and he and I are shooting the breeze for a little bit, saying hello, whatever, right? And this dude walk up to him and say, "Hey, Governor Patterson, how you doing?" Blah blah blah. Then out of his mouth, he goes, "You know, I'm looking for a job." And the governor goes, "Yeah, me too."
You know what, Roger? You know, my saying the same thing about she just called me out like, please stop pulling your hair. Please stop pulling your hair.
Oh wait, who called you out?
My mom. She
was
like,
so your mom is watching the same thing my mom is watching. That is funny. But yeah, you were saying about Governor Patterson.
Yeah, he's a good guy, man. There's nothing.
Oh no, he's a great guy. I just thought it was a funny joke.
No jugs and nothing like that. So he never did.
Oh, he said that. He said that.
Well, you know what? From what I know, I don't know.
No, he said it. I didn't say it. Oh, speaking of something that I was watching CNN this morning, right? And so they had Admiral
that leftist.
What's his name? Admiral Brett something Swarg. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he was on the COVID piece, right? And the only thing he admitted to was that Dr. Burke said that the narrative that they're putting out about the asymptomatic people, that they shouldn't put it out.
Why? I want to know.
Wait, hold on. But according to him, we're all sitting, and he was throwing Anthony Fauci under the bus, boy. He was everything he said was Anthony Fauci was the head. Anthony Fauci was the head. Anthony Fauci. He wanted to take. I was responsible for 643 those units around the country. I don't know what I forgot what it's called. But it was 643. That was his thing.
So wait,
I'm telling you. So the only thing that he gave was he refused to admit that Trump's downplayed. Like I forgot what the exact words that the anchor said, but he was like, but Anthony Fauci. I was like, yo, dog, they agreed on the narrative, and the only person she said, Burke, said no.
First thing,
and they had to change it.
Can't really even say no about Trump now. There's like Trump is out there like whatever,
you know,
right? So now they only have Fauci, the top infectious disease expert,
Mhm.
Let's throw this guy under the bus, man.
Yeah,
These things are coming out.
and they did, right? So
I
but
haven't seen him around.
who
I haven't
Fauci?
heard too much about Fauci. He's been quiet lately. What's going on with Fauci?
No, I sent the article this morning.
Yeah, he's been out a little bit.
He's not
I
mainstream.
wonder why.
He's not because remember on the Trump, right? On the Trump, it's Trump. It was Trump versus Fauci because Trump would say something really stupid,
Mhm.
and then he expect like Fauci to follow up, and Fauci was like, "I'm not doing that." Something else interesting. So I got some pushback from some people today, and I was like laughing. They go, "You see." That because the media went out. Oh, the number of people who got the number of hospitalization of vaccinated people are going up. And I laughed at that statement. I'm like, the number of people getting COVID is going up, not vaccinated or
Wait. The number
hold
is
on.
going.
But they make
That-
that point.
But it's funny when you really think about it, right? So, and I don't know if I don't want to give the wrong number, but I don't remember if it was 78, but when I did 100%, right? 58.3% or 78.3%. I don't remember the exact number, but it's one of those two. It's definitely 78 or 68 or 78 or 58. So, and I'm going to go with the lower number.
Mhm.
So 60% of all hospitalization, and they were using a number from Israel because they use Israel because Israel is the most vaccinated country according to people around the world. But 60% of the people who are hospitalized
Mhm.
are unvaccinated. 20%, and it was 18.2, but I'm going to round it off like I did with the 68, with the 658. So 20% of the people who are hospitalized are vaccinated. So it's literally 3-1. And then 1.2% of those hospitalized are people who have received the third, or whatever. If it's Johnson & Johnson, the second, if you're whatever, there's a third. So there's a 3-1 likelihood.
Mhm.
And they were looking at the age, also people over 60. A 3-1 likelihood that if you're over 60 and you catch COVID, you're going to be hospitalized.
Mhm.
And yet still people are like, oh, but 18%, there's still people who are the vaccine who are going to the hospital. So why should I take the vaccine? Dude, it's the numbers are in front of you. It's 3-1. And yet still you're making an argument against them why you shouldn't take the vaccine. So, people take numbers. I always say to people look at data and numbers and you put it however you want to put it. But you don't want to give and then, which is, it's funny to me that you listen to everything Dr. Fauci said until he says something that sounds like you shouldn't be taking a vaccine. And everything after he says that, oh, that's why Anthony Fauci says, but you didn't hear everything else he said that about the vaccine, but you heard that part because you hear what you want to hear.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay, I want to go back to a topic quickly.
Shoot, what's up?
The gentleman that they wanted to execute,
Julius Jones.
Julius, right? In regards to that governor, that state is
The
pro-life.
Republican governor. Yeah. What's his
Yeah,
name?
pro-life. They want to actually stop females from committing.
Kevin Stitt.
You want to do what, Doc?
They want to stop all females from having abortions, but they're quick to execute a black gentleman or execute individuals.
That's
So
the whole
it's so
Yep.
contradictory.
100%.
Because the thing is, it could be a rape, it could be anything. You're saying no, life matters, but it doesn't matter when it comes to a black individual. It doesn't matter when it comes not only
Well,
black.
I don't know that
Overall.
I like the statement. I like what you're talking about, but I don't know if I'm going to agree with that.
No. Not only black, but someone that they considered committed a crime and alleged. committed a crime, but still
Well,
might
not
come
alleged. He's
back to the
convicted.
state. Whatever.
Or maybe falsely convicted, but he is convicted.
Okay.
I just don't. I don't know that it's. Here's where I would agree.
And it's not a black and white thing. So
No,
let me
no.
clarify that.
Here's where I agree and disagree. Right, the preponderance of evidence shows
Mhm.
that there's a higher probability that if you're black and you
Mhm.
commit like a major crime. I'm sorry. I'm just reading Janet's comment. We'll come back to Janet. Just bring back up in a few.
That you're going to get the death penalty.
Right. That there's a high preponderance. There's a preponderance of evidence. John, we on big words there, right?
Mhm.
That shows that if you're a person of color, black or brown, primarily male,
Mhm.
you're gonna get a harsher, more stiff penalty.
Of course. And
Right.
look at the trial now. This young man who actually killed someone will get a slap over his wrist and keep it moving, even though
Which young man?
Rittenhouse.
Rittenhouse.
Even though he's carrying a gun, let's look at it.
You see that
A gun. If it was a black young boy with a gun, he wouldn't be alive to actually see a trial. But here it is.
You know what? I don't know. I for once,
It's
Joanne.
true.
For once, Joanne, I'm gonna have to say I think if it was a black dude, it would have been dead.
Exactly. That's the thing. He wouldn't have a
think
trial.
so.
He would not have a trial. So it's different playbook for people.
Well, but the question is, who would have killed him?
The police officer, of course, they're not gonna go and feed him or
But
walk around.
they don't kill every black person with a gun. The dude that killed on the Bell Parkway was white.
Yeah, because he was shooting. He was shooting.
Oh no, he wasn't shooting. He had a gun.
He took out his gun
It was
and
a
he
BB gun.
aimed for them.
It
So
was
that's
a
a
BB gun that
different.
shot him
That's
with.
a whole different
Suicide by cop.
thing.
I
But
guess what was he having issues?
you know what? He could have been drunk. You know.
He looked like he was drunk when he came out of the
Yeah,
car.
they could have aimed for his ankles. They could have aimed for his hand. They didn't have to go, but you know.
I thought it was excessive
can't
too.
tell.
I did.
I
Let me
tell.
tell you something. You know what?
Police officers.
But I agree. I agree, Joe.
We can sit back and we can speculate.
Yes, we can. We can.
But when you are in
The
that
situation
predicament,
is different, right?
you are taught to disable someone's center mass. You're not. I mean, so we got to.
Yeah, but they got to try a different way.
No, my thing is, I get it.
We can all
I thought
try,
it was excessive,
but we can all try a different way until we're in that situation or predicament.
And here's the thing: moving vehicles are still going by too, so we got to take that into account. You have innocent bystander. Yes, you're going to aim and shoot or whatever, but you got to think about all the other cars that's going by too. So that was kind of reckless. But you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to tell them how to do their job. It is okay.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through some comments that people made. Janet wrote, and Janet, we did say we were talking about the vaccinated. I'm not sure that's not really accurate because those who I admit who have COVID are those who are not vaccinated. Yeah, I think it goes along with the statement that I made that the higher percentage of people who are hospitalized are those who are unvaccinated, and that is. But I'm saying if somebody who's anti-vaccine, they'll make the argument, oh, does it stop COVID? Does it do this? Right. So it is, yeah, we know all three of them are hospital, even those with the booster. And the booster just came out, about 2 months ago, maybe?
Correct.
And so that happens. Hey, Empress, how you doing? Greetings to you. What else is happening in the news? We have the politics. We have that crap. I'm very offended by this.
What?
What's that?
About the people who have false vaccination cards.
You knew that was coming.
There's a sham on everything. There's a scam on everything.
You knew that was coming. Once you start pressuring people to do something, they're going to find a way to avoid what it is that you're pressuring them to do. Why is that a surprise to anyone?
Hey, this is what I found to be interesting. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody got terminated. who was doing it, right?
Right.
It was the opposite of the
Right.
expected.
The person who signed the card to say you're vaccinated got fired. The person who had the card that says you're vaccinated kept their job.
Mm.
They both should have gotten fired.
Absolutely ridiculous.
The both of them should have gotten fired.
Well, one is more needed than the other two.
Why?
Well, I mean, based on what they do in terms of the job, that's why.
I don't know about that. What do you think, audience? Do you think both of them should have been fired, or just the one that signed the card?
What it is, so, I mean,
What? Don't tell me. What do you think it is?
well, you're not saying that the career field is it okay? Can we say the career fields?
They were in the medical field.
Or both of them?
Both of them are in the medical field.
One was.
Go ahead. Oh, you talk about boss versus man versus
one,
woman.
Wasn't one in management where? Like,
Oh, one was the supervisor. Yeah, one was the boss.
HR.
Well, one was the boss. Yes, yes. So you're saying that because he was the boss and he did it for her, then I just said both of them should be fired. I don't think just one. So you're saying that because the other one's job, well, I'm not following. Are you saying because the person was like a nurse, so that was more important for her to have that card?
No, I think I'm saying
to keep her job?
Possibly look at it from that angle. So I'm assuming that maybe that's what it was. But then again, maybe I misunderstand the entire thing.
What do you agree, Gloria and Yvonne? I see that you said that both should have been fired, and that's what I think. I can't.
Should have been both fired. I think so.
Yeah, that was just ridiculous. And then I'm also pissed off at the garbage people.
Garbage people.
Yeah, man. Have you not? You live. You're right. You don't live in the city, but you work in the city. You see all the garbage still hanging out.
Oh yeah, no, I still see that.
And then it's kind of funny because I was doing the numbers today. Almost 90% of all sanitation workers are vaccinated, but yet still can't pick up the garbage. And then so people like,
wait. Are they truly vaccinated, or are they brought?
Or they with the card, right? Kumbaya, man. Joanna's on fire today, boy. Y'all know they bought the cards too, right? Because a lot of them did buy the card. But so when you watch the media, this is why I told you people do all of these things with data, and they lie. Because you want to put the data out there like, oh, it's not true. 90%, okay, of sanitation workers are vaccinated. Now, I'm not saying 10% is not a lot of people, but when you listen to out there in the media and listen to what they're trying to say in their commercials, you would think that it's 50%. It's 40%. It's 10%. Police officers like 86%. I think they were a little bit lower. Firefighters, one of them. Can you look that up for me so I don't give out the wrong numbers? The percentage of city workers who are vaccinated, right? So people are out there. I'm not saying that the numbers are not important or that people should lose their job. That's not the argument I'm making. I'm just making it like, stop putting out things out there like it's the majority of people not doing this. 95% or 98% of the DOE is vaccinated. And then I had a conversation with somebody who I shall name nameless, who's blaming class size on COVID because teachers are leaving. I'm like, yo, I went out for $746 million 20 years ago trying to fix class size and get labs. I had to lobby somebody to get some labs and class size. It was part of my Brooklyn Education Collaborative Initiative. Coalition for Educational Justice to lower class sizes. The UFT went, and I got to give credit to UFT. They went and argued from 34 to 32 to 30 students in the class. That was then. And I started teaching in public school in 1996. I know people out there longer who knew larger class sizes than that. But it's actually in the contract how large a class could be. And I know principals who went, and I could talk about two. One is on here now, Eddie Gentile, and the other one, Veronica Peterson. Both of them were looking at lowering the class size.
Okay.
Right? And because the class size was so big.
Right.
So it had nothing to do with COVID. It had nothing to do. class size was just always big.
Right.
Mhm.
So now all of a sudden, COVID is here. I'm gonna blame COVID for everything. It's COVID's fault. It's COVID. No,
COVID.
yeah. Might as well blame it on the cannabis, yo.
The weed and the coconut and like that spliff up.
You know what I'm saying? Like, might as well you know get your dispensary going. That's what we're gonna talk about tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Waiting for a guest who's gonna come on, right? And actually doing it the legal way.
Caller. You have a caller.
All right. Call you live.
Hi, good afternoon or good evening, Dr. Six. Let me just say real quickly that I was thinking about this when they're saying that there are a lot of people who are being hospitalized who have gotten the vaccine. My question is, did these people really get the vaccine, or did they pay a doctor, buy the card, whatever it is,
Good
say
question.
that they got vaccinated? So when they get into the hospital with all these illnesses, they aren't really vaccinated, but because they reported that they are vaccinated, the news
Exactly.
reports that they are vaccinated people getting COVID and being hospitalized. But how much of us who are truly vaccinated is getting COVID?
You know,
and getting hospitalized?
you know what's interesting? What you saying, Andre? You know what? I've known a couple of people who were vaccinated who got COVID. I do know.
I'm not saying no.
No, I'm agreeing with you. But now that I'm thinking about it, most of the times the people I do hear that are getting COVID are those who are unvaccinated. Janet, you were saying something. Maybe you could chime in here as well,
They're
because
saying that it's the vaccinated that's spreading COVID because we're silent carriers and we don't know we have it. But these so-called silent carriers, did they really get vaccinated, or did they buy the card, pay a doctor, and say, yes, I'm vaccinated? So it's reported to CDC or wherever that, oh, this person was vaccinated and they were hospitalized with COVID, or they're spreading
because they
COVID.
provided the card.
Counted in the number.
And
Because the
here,
person had the card.
here's another thing. There are actually a lot of people who are vaccinated actually they're relaxed their security in regards to
Yes, I
they're
agree.
just chilling, hanging out or whatever, and they don't
Yes,
follow procedures as they should or
I
as
agree, and I have a
cautious
problem
as
with
they
that.
should.
I'm
And
guilty of that.
that has been the case recently in an uptick and an
Mm-hmm.
uprise of
Mm-hmm.
cases going around, not only
Mm-hmm.
anywhere but in schools, in the
Yes.
hospitals, in churches or whatever, wherever you go,
Mm-hmm.
because people are just hanging out. Hey, we're all vaccinated and that's it. We good.
Yes.
No, we good
Right.
spreading. That's what we doing.
But how much of us out of that 110, whatever of us are saying, yeah, we vaccinated, let's relax. How many of us are really vaccinated and not
That's
saying
another thing.
look, I'm
But
not
there's no
vaccinated. I'm
guarantee.
just saying that.
And what they fail to understand is, and they mentioned this, just because you are vaccinated doesn't mean you cannot get
I'm
COVID.
sorry. Can you read that for me, Joanne?
I
Read
get
what
a
I'm
fake
laughing.
card. So what? All right, Chris, where you get the card from?
Yeah, the people want to know, Chris. Where did you get your
Yeah,
card?
I'm
And you know
telling you.
what? I'm gonna go, but just before I go, another thing that I'm saying that I'm thinking about is how many people, when they say people with underlying illnesses, a lot of times people have underlying illnesses and don't know that they have it. And then after they're vaccinated and they get sick and they go to the hospital, then they realize that they had underlying illnesses. They said, oh, I get the vaccine and I developed this. No, honey, you had
True.
this. You didn't know because you didn't go for a checkup.
Interesting.
That's true. A lot of people don't go to the doctors before this, especially our males. They avoid going to the doctors. So, you're so right about that.
Time for Bible study.
All
Bye.
right, Simone.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks for being.
Right. What do you mean? Yo, Chris, how you going to make a statement and can't follow up?
I can't tell you that, but you could text us. You
Yeah,
understand?
text us. Yeah, text us. Put it
Send
out there
it to
so
Roderick.
everybody who wants one can get one. Monet wrote, they have a central system base that can reveal the true result. So, Chris, hold on. Let me put your comment back up again.
Oh,
I can get a fake card. So what? Let's put up Monet's comment again.
That's true, That is true.
They have a
And
central system.
But you also have people in the system who manipulate it too. So
I
what next?
that was a great point about the fake card. Yeah, you're right about that, Nat. You
right.
are so right about that.
There are things that we have to, because now we don't know how many things are
What-
Tanisha.
Yes, I want a card. I need two.
I need one too, Tanisha. I do need one. Right.
Yes, people get lax.
Mine is legit. Mine is legit.
That's
So
true.
I need to get
No,
John.
I
You need a
really
fake card
do
too?
need two.
I don't need a
I
fake
really
card.
need two.
You don't need a
I
fake
do
card?
need
Mhm.
two
You
cards.
need one too?
I need two.
You need two fake cards.
Yes, please.
For who?
Don't worry
who?
about it. Don't worry about it.
Is this going back to how you doing? I'm okay.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
I wasn't worried. I knew you were going to say that. We know you. Like
Don't worry about it. What do you mean? Don't worry about it.
All right. So and I need a fake card too myself. So let's be a little serious, right? Because right before our guest comes on in a few, we want to. I was thinking about the cannabis business, right? And I guess I definitely want to ask our guests about that. I don't know that a lot of, as much as cannabis is a very profitable business, I don't know that people who sells marijuana illegally really want legalized business.
They don't want legalized business because it takes away the underground business.
Yeah, I was thinking. No, it sounds crazy, but I don't remember who I was talking to. I was on my way in and I was talking to somebody, right? And I was explaining, if you made $100,000 a year, if you're a drug lord, you make $1 million a year, $100,000 a year selling drugs, that is tax free.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to pay nothing. I buy everything I need to buy, and I buy cash and do whatever I want to do. I want to send some money to the Caribbeans. I don't have to account for nothing. Right? All of a sudden, now you want to create a business.
You gotta fill taxes. What you gonna put?
I got to fill out 1099s. I got to give a W-2. I got to show my income, my losses, and they don't necessarily understand. Like Trump only paid $750 in taxes.
I know this. Amazing.
He didn't avoid.
Don't even
Right.
go there.
Right?
My nerves.
They don't have to pay on tax.
No, again, he said only stupid people pay taxes. Right? So what you need to do
Broke and rich.
now, what you need to do if you really want to do that is get a good accountant.
Mm-hmm.
And you give the right numbers so they know how to put in your way and your loss and what you can file for.
Mm-hmm.
For example, just a little hint out there. Your company car, your car can be the company's car.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to be company business, but it could be the company car.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're not paying a car note. The company's paying a car note and leasing the car.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not illegitimate.
Right.
Right? That's a legitimate write-off. So that means the gas is a write-off, the car is a write-off, the office space is a write-off. So let's say you own a house and downstairs is your office. The office has to pay rent.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how much the rent is, it has to be fair market value, right? Is that correct? So
Yes.
therefore, that's another way to look at it. So you kind of have a right. There is more money in the legalized world. Legalized company will have a wider market to play in. That is true. But if that is true, Tanisha, but if your fear is that you're losing money, because remember, no, fear is oftentimes greater than reality. So if I think
if you allow fear to overcome if you allow fear to take over your sense of reality, yes, it can be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because if it's like I say to somebody, for example, I always bring I always go back to education when I'm whenever I'm talking about things, because that's where I came from, right? When you say to somebody, take out a school loan, to go to school, they're like, I don't want to pay that money back. And then you often say, what's the average salary of a doctor? Right? You start off at 50 and the number has risen.
Right.
But the average salary for a doctor after a number of years is way over $250,000.
Right.
So the total cost of medical school is $250,000.
Right.
So if you're taking out a loan for $250,000 to make $250,000 in a year, you're making $4 million. You're making $1 million in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
If you do it right, you pay it off in 4 years. And for the next 30 years of your life, right, you're only going to get an increase in your salary from $250,000. And if you're a specialist, forget it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So sometimes the fear far outweighs the reality of the situation because you don't want to be stuck. And, you know, give the college loan to the kids. Make them sign off on the loan, and when they graduate college, you take care of it.
Wait, who's taking care of it? The parent or the child?
The parents take care of it while the kid in school. After the kids graduate, the kids take care of the loan.
Mm.
Right? So you take out it because the kids are too young to sign for a loan. So you sign for the loan with the kid.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's why our kids need to stop doing stupid things when they
I
go to
don't-
school.
Mm.
Right? You know, you if you're going to school to, you know, do what you have to do, but don't come out like I'm
But
not
they're
saying
coming out with
you
debt.
could be
They're
wrong.
coming out with debt. They're coming out with debt. Our goal is not to have our kids go out with debt.
The debt, there's good debt and bad debt.
Yes, but nowadays debt is debt.
No,
debt.
that's not true. You can't,
Debt.
no.
Debt.
Bad debt is credit
No,
card
but
debt.
here's the problem. Here's the problem. You take out a loan, it's
Mhm.
taking you forever to pay it back. The
So-
whole student loan stupidity is being sold and resold, and your interest rate is going. You're
You
gonna
know,
pay
you know why it's sold and resold and sold and resold?
because they gotta make money off of it. Similar to a
But
mortgage.
your
They
interest,
gotta
okay,
they
okay.
listen,
That all of that is not true.
that
Your
is-
interest rate on your student loan does not change.
it does depending
It
on
does
if
not
it's
change.
refinance.
No.
Yes. Let me tell you
Who's
something.
refinancing the loan? If you refinance it,
You're paying interest. Well, first of all, a lot of the loans had to be refinanced in order to get
by
the
whom?
Listen, if you have multiple loans, in order to get into some of the programs that they had, it had to be refinanced. Yes, it had. Yes,
I've never had to refinance a loan. Not for myself nor my kids.
I had to.
I might have. What I did was, for example, I will move a loan from one bank to the next.
Mm.
That's what I would do.
Here's the
And
problem.
if I did that, if I did that, I'm taking on the new interest rate,
Mhm.
just like any other loan. So, like if I take a car loan, which I've done this. This is what I've done. I bought a car years ago. I don't remember. I think it was $30,000 for the car, Mitsubishi Diamante. I bought that car. I went to this bank and I got a loan.
Okay.
I went to another bank and got another loan to pay off that loan that I had with the bank because I want to lower my payment
Use
amount.
other people's money. That's the key.
Right? I want to lower my payment on that loan, so I moved it to another bank. But your loan and your interest don't change, right? Period.
I need
Once
you.
you have-
I
So
need.
now-
I need you to pay attention to what's happening with the student loan.
I am
issue.
paying attention. But here's
very
Chris
well.
wrote, student loan interest rate do not change only if you refinance. But it's you that's changing it, not
Right.
the bank.
But here's the thing. A lot of the servicers are leaving too. That's another thing. So you're forced to have to go to a different provider. It's a lot that changed
But
when
it's
you move from
not the
servicer.
bank. It doesn't matter where you go. The bank, you have an agreement on your loan. So
Yes.
the agreement cannot be changed unless you change it. So if you move the loan, you refinanced your loan. The bank cannot refinance your loan for you.
Okay.
Period.
Mhm.
So now people make, like I explained with you with my example, I thought, right, because I'm paying less money, I'm going to move my loan. That
Mhm.
means I might end up paying more interest because now I signed a new term.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Right? So let's say I'm going from $350 to $280,
Right.
but it's still a 5-year loan. So I'm going to pay more in interest, but I'm going to pay less money at a time.
Mhm.
Because now my let's say my loan was 10 years.
Right.
And in year 5, I change the loan and take a new 10-year loan.
Right.
I'm paying less money, but I'm still paying over 10 years.
Correct.
That's why they catch you with refinance. That's why they tell you when you do something, you pay additional monies, and that will lessen what you have to pay. But no bank can refinance your loan or your mortgage or anything without you signing off on it.
Correct.
And I don't know anybody else, unless somebody's out there who could tell me differently. Even if, as a matter of fact, if your money goes to collection, it gives you bad credit, but you actually pay less, but you get bad credit. And that stays on your credit report, what, 7 years is what it is? But you get bad credit. When they sell your loan to somebody, they call you up and say, let's pay it off. What are you willing to pay, Mr. Daly,
Right.
Mr. Sampson, Dr. Bryant? What are you willing to pay it off? Now, you might choose to do that because you don't want to be bothered with the money. It all depends on your age, right? If you're 21 years old, 22 years old, 23 years old,
Right.
yeah, okay, whatever. You take the hit. But if you're 60 years old, 50-something years old, getting retired, and you need your credit, or you're in the age where you want to buy a house, and you need the credit, you don't want to do that.
Correct.
Right? But like Andre said, good debt and bad debt.
Of course.
Right?
Good debt is where you can write it off.
Yeah, write it or you use it for something, for economic gains.
I think with student loan, you can't file for bankruptcy either, right?
What student
No,
loan?
it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, student loan doesn't.
But
Bankruptcy.
But any other loan, you could do that.
Yeah, you can write it off. That's why you need a good accountant.
That's why I said student loan debt is the worst that you can get into.
What, student loan?
Yeah.
No. So only way student loan is a bad debt is if you don't do anything.
Well,
with
the
education
bottom
that you
line
got.
is, let's see what Biden's going to do with this student debt.
Yeah.
I don't see how you
No, but what Obama was trying to do.
We said that.
What Obama was trying to do was to tie it in with community service, because a lot of us don't believe in free service.
Doc
And
has
now-
something to say.
And now it forces us now to do for young people to actually give of their time.
I got you, Doc. What were you going to say?
You know what? I was reading this week.
Oh,
that
wait, you were doing what?
She said she was reading.
That's what she was doing? I thought she was pulling her hair
Hey,
up.
Doc, could you repeat that
Look,
again
look,
for
she's
him?
so, yo, she's so sad. Smile, Doc.
I was reading this week, and I was reading a couple of individuals mention that their student loan was actually clear.
Was what?
So clear. They paid it off. Like
Right.
not paid it off, but they actually forgave the loan. So a lot of people who were
Oh, so the industry forgave the loan.
right, the public
I had that
service
too.
loan issues that came about is people were paying for it for 15 years. You know, they were promised, hey, 10 years, after 10 years is going to be discarded or whatever. And you have all these individuals who paid, and then at the last minute they were told, oh, thanks, but none of these apply towards that program. So
Yeah, that can happen.
recently they had to look at the loan again, reevaluate it, and many of these individuals who were declined prior were given a second chance, and their loan
That
was
is awesome.
discarded. Yeah, so I'm looking
That's
forward to that. Very
I received when I started teaching, like, so certain areas that people go into, you get loan forgiveness. So when I started teaching, by the way, people, for students who are going to school, you're pointing at something. Our guest is here. So when I was going to school, when I came out my first year, 95, I paid some of my student loans because there are a few loans that you have. But I had the Stafford and I had the Perkins loan, right? Perkins loan is the best loan that you can get, but it's the least amount of money. Then the Stafford and then the personal loan. So the first year I paid it. So it was like every 3 months or something. I don't remember what it was, but $181. I actually remember the number. Right?
I look forward to that. Please
Right.
give me that.
I'm saying that was cool. But then I started teaching, and then it got deferred. Then it got deferred until it was forgiven. Both of my loans, Stafford loan and Perkins loan, both forgiven. depending on the field you're going to. Right, so you have
Mm.
to do 5 years. My master's, my master's degree, some of it was forgiven because I taught in a high needs area. So
Mm.
those of you who are listening and you teach, talk to your payroll secretary about that. Let me get our guest on because I know that she's pressed the time. It's time.
That was John.
Ladies and gentlemen, you see how many people are so excited about this topic in the house. Hi, Miss Tremaine. How are you?
Good evening. Thank you all for having me tonight. I'm so happy to be able to speak with the village.
Wait. I'm just joking. I won't ask you that question. just to make Dr. Brian smile. Welcome.
Thank you. 1 second.
Welcome, Commissioner Wright. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Thank you. And I hear you guys talking about student loans. That is the burden. That's for real. But I am going to say don't let it wear. I'm just going to encourage people, do not let that wear you down. I still have student loans. I have student loans from law school. I do not worry about them. I know that they are the lowest cost of money that I will ever be able to acquire in my entire life. So if the opportunity to spend my money in some other way where I'm going to reap benefits, I do that with my money versus paying off debt that has extremely low interest rates. So I'm going to say that is one way to look at it as well. And
that's true. That's true.
I'd much rather put a down payment on something than pay off my student loan. And that's the way I looked at it for a while.
I agree. You look at money that's going to that's true though. You look at money that's going to appreciate in value.
Say it again.
You look at money, you put the money where it's going to appreciate in value.
Thank you. That's it.
Like in your 401, in your investment account, because the amount of money you're going to make from your investment account is significantly higher than what you're going to pay on the interest on the student loan.
Definitely.
It's a fact. It's just a way to use economics. People just like we're talking about owning the business and we're talking about the cannabis. So we're trying to say how do we own our own business. Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Welcome, Your Honor.
Welcome.
So I'm going to say, I'm going to encourage everybody to think about how they can participate in cannabis. Yes. Cannabis is new in New York State. We just passed the law in March of 2021. So we legalized cannabis in New York State. And what does that mean? It means that you can hold up to 3 ounces for personal use without being stopped, without being arrested. We still arrest people for selling unregulated, unlicensed.
How much is it? 3 ounces?
I don't have the amount in front of me, but it's for personal use. 3 ounces of cannabis.
That's a lot of weed. 3 ounces is a lot of weed. That's a lot of weed, Commissioner.
And
I want to get high. I want to get high.
So
you don't need to get no high.
They told me I need to get high. Yeah.
They're using it for medicinal purposes as well.
There you go. There you go.
We've got medicinal marijuana, and that's been legal in New York for almost 10 years. And now we just introduced recreational.
So
and under recreational parameters, we have up to 9 licenses. So people do not have to just limit themselves to selling at a retail dispensary. They can be growers, they can be cultivators, manufacturers. They can have a micro business.
Sorry, Andre, just put that up because you said about the license. I put the 9. No, I just our producer put up what the 9 licenses are. So can you repeat that so you get it? You get licensed in
cultivation, manufacturing.
So while you're doing that,
Roger.
No, I'm gonna
let her explain first.
No, I am.
Let her go through the licenses. You're not letting her let her speak.
No, but I'm saying when you say cultivate, like growing, I want to say like
you can grow this much. If you cultivate it, you're growing. If you are a manufacturer, you are processor, you are processing that so that it can be used as either tinctures, oils, or however we need to use it. I mean, like however people want to ingest it. We manage the cannabis that is going to be consumed. So you can be a cultivator. You can have a micro license wherein you are allowed to grow, process, and sell your own cannabis. There are people, because generally we're not looking at monopolies. We're trying to break up the licensing. You can also be a distributor. You can also do delivery. And you can also own a cooperative, an interest in a
But you can
cooperative.
only have one license, right?
You can only have one license, it's true. But if you decide that you want to be a micro business, you get to grow, I should say cultivate, process, and sell your product. So you can definitely fall in. We are prioritizing social equity applicants. So if you are a distressed farmer,
Could you explain that when you talk
I,
about
I,
social?
I wanted to
equity
go back too,
applicants?
because one of the things is I want people to understand is their quantity, like, because that's important as well, right? Like how you said you could have 3 ounces for personal use. Is there quantity as well that people can have, or is it's unlimited?
so right now you can only hold 3 ounces of flour.
Correct.
There are no legal sales of edibles except through a medical dispensary.
Mm.
If you need to obtain a medical card so that you can go to the medical dispensaries, you can speak to any physician or any practitioner, medical practitioner that can write a prescription. They can write you a prescription for medical marijuana right now. Any of them for any condition.
They gave me CBD. Is that one?
Oh.
Is that one
That
CBD oil?
is a form of cannabis.
Mm.
CBD is different from THC.
I was going to ask you that.
Yes, so CBDs are usually associated with relaxation and control of sort of temperaments, while THC is usually considered the hallucinogenic.
Okay.
However,
Mm-hmm.
you may need some combination of the two, or you might need one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever's prescribing it for you can make that determination.
So can we in the general world say marijuana? Like is there a difference between cannabis and marijuana? Or is
Yes.
this,
Yes. So the cannabis plant is the same thing that we can use to make tables, chairs, and building materials out of.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing that we produce hemp paper and clothing, as well as CBDs, and also that we make smokable flower that many people call marijuana. What they're pulling out, or how they're distinguishing between the plants, is some of them have higher contents of THC.
THC.
THC. Now, please don't ask me to go back into the corners of my mind to think of high school chem, but it's like a tetrahydro, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't remember the full name of THC, nor do I recall the full name of CBD, but it's a cannabinoid. And hemp and cannabis plants are full of cannabinoids.
Right.
The THC is just one of them. And so while we have legalized the plant and people are using the THC and people are using the CBD,
Mm-hmm.
we also need to do more research so that we really understand what's going on with this plant. This plant has countless uses.
That's
and
true.
we're really not exploiting it. We finally have a group which is not governed by the OCM and the Office of Cannabis Management, but you can grow hemp in New York State. They are partnering with car companies to create the entire interior of the car out of hemp product.
Which is
Wow.
interesting. Very interesting. Because
And
hemp,
that's
I
an
know,
industrial hemp use. So we don't actually govern it. That's under Ag and Market here in New York State. And growing hemp is legal nationally. So you can participate in the market even if you are not involved in THC or CBD for ingestion. What we manage is consumption of the cannabis products, and that is what we are going to be licensing. And we want to make sure that we're controlling it so that people get good product. Because right now, there's too much out there.
One quick question. I have a couple of questions, and I think Dr. Brown has a question. Andre just wants us to double check the licensure, if that's correct. Mm-hmm. So we have cultivation and growing, which basically means growing. Manufacturing is processing. The micro license, which is grow, sell, process, and the distribution and deliver.
And then you also have a co-op license, which would allow for businesses that are organizing themselves as cooperatives to set. That's a special licensing provision. And I'm missing something. We distributor, delivery, cultivator, manufacturing and processing. Oh, on-site consumption. That's a separate license as well.
I was about to ask you about that.
Yeah. And I think I'm clearly missing something because I don't think I've hit 9, but we have 9 different license types. I think I'm only at 8.
So like in Holland, in Amsterdam, they have like what is it called, the shops, right, where you can go into a shop and make a selection of like a menu. It's a menu. You have a menu.
The dispensary. I'm sorry, the last thing, the one that everybody talks about, the retail dispensary licenses. That's number 9. Sorry.
Okay.
Exactly. That is it.
So you will be able to create like a tobacco shop or cigar shop where you can actually go in. But now in New York City, they don't allow you to smoke inside. So how would that work?
So we are going to offer retail dispensary licenses. We will be prioritizing. So 50% of all licenses must be given to those who are considered social equity applicants. So anybody that falls under the following 4 categories: disabled veteran, MWBE, distressed farmer, and someone who has been disproportionately impacted by the war on drugs. We do have to flesh those terms out a little bit more, but those people are considered social equity applicants, and we have reserved 50% of all licenses of all 9 categories for those people.
So I'm sorry,
yes,
just repeat that. So you have disabled veterans,
yes,
MWBE,
yes,
disproportionately
impacted persons
by war on drugs. What does that mean?
That's what we're going to be working on the definition of.
And then the 4th one was which one?
We don't have a good definition for it.
And the 4th one was what?
Distressed farmers.
Distressed farmers. Okay,
yeah.
That's for most of the people who are in the western part of the state.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have several questions. The first one is with the oil.
The what?
The oil. The oil that CBD oil. If you break out of it, is there something wrong? Is there wrong chemicals that's being used when it's used for massaging and you actually break out from the oil?
So the question I would ask is, what kind of CBD oil do you have? Mm-hmm. Are you using a CBD oil that is truly CBD oil, or is it mixed with some other stuff? Is it mixed with something as clean and pure as a natural olive oil, or is there something else? And that's why we're trying to regulate this market so that we can start to have labeling that expresses exactly what's in the product. It identifies the percentages of CBD and or THC in the product, and people know what they're using. Right now, you can find CBD items all over the marketplace. And because there is no uniformity in the labeling, some of them work, some of them don't, and nobody has an explanation why.
That's true. I went to a massage parlor and they used it on me and I broke out in hives. It took several days for me to actually for my skin to calm down. And I had vouched never ever to use. It was supposed to be calming and everything, and it became a nightmare for me. Complete nightmare. So
my question would then be, what did they use? What did they mix it with? So we have a lot of since hemp is already legal and you can pull CBD from hemp, we have lots of producers here in New York City, for example. Some people are adding it to maple syrups and honeys and butters. Other people are mixing it with oils and putting it into lotions. And so one of the first things that we did as the Cannabis Control Board is that we issued our hemp regulations, and we are now regulating the sale of hemp products in New York State. So anybody that sells hemp products must register with the OCM, and it's only a $300 registration fee that they do annually. But then we know what is being, then we are able to inspect and know what's being sold. And right now, it's just, unfortunately, it's like a wild, wild west.
Right.
We don't have enough information, and it's, we've got to do the regulation, and then we've also got to start to encourage education amongst consumers so that they know to ask for this certain things when they go in. That they want to know, where was this grown? Where was it tested? How much THC or how much CBD is in it? Delta 8 products are completely illegal in New York State. However, if you go into many of our smoke shops, you will see Delta 8 products. That is something that has been chemically treated. And we want to make sure that people know to ask the questions so that they will get products that are not going to be harmful to them.
We have a great question here that one of our listeners actually asked: do former nonviolent offenders previously in prison for possession get any particular special assistance if interested?
So I'm going to ask you to repeat the last part of that question. Just because, one second, let these ladies pass me. Okay, sorry. If anyone that's been arrested for nonviolent,
previously in prison for possession, get any particular special assistance if interested?
So we are creating a fund, and we hope to be able to make loans to people who qualify as social equity, and someone who has been incarcerated for low-level possession would qualify because they've actually been, that is without question a way to identify a person who has been disproportionately harmed by the war on drugs. So we will definitely be making a priority for people who have been arrested. We're also expunging their convictions. At this point in New York State, we have either sealed and or expunged almost 400,000 convictions and or charges of people who had been charged and or convicted of low-level possession.
Commissioner, I just want to jump in for a second. What is what's the time frame that we're looking at with respect to, one, the regulations? And my second question is that how are we going to ascertain or be certain that the economic impact that we anticipate is going to arrive from this actually does those communities who have been impacted by the war on drugs?
So I'm going to do the first one first. Regulations. We're working on regulations right now. However, it is a process to actually write them, then to release them to the public for public comment for 6 months. Then people get to respond. We have to respond to the comments. Then they become final. So that is why we have said that we think it's going to take about 18 months for all of this to come to fruition and for us to be issuing licenses. Additionally, how do we ensure that the communities that have been harmed are going to reap the benefit? One, we have prioritized social equity in the licensing process, and we give a priority to those who have been incarcerated and charged for low-level possession offenses. Two, we have an advisory board made of 15 people, appointments by our various legislators in the Assembly, the Senate, and the governor's office. Those people are tasked with finding and investing 40% of the tax revenue into communities. So
when you talk about the advisory board, when you appoint people to the advisory board, it's always important who are the people that are being appointed to these advisory boards, and
you've got to speak to the people who are elected. The OCM, the agency itself, does not have a hand in it.
Right.
We clearly
make a recommendation.
No, we are not involved. It is purely an appointment process by the legislature.
You can't be a part of it, Roderick. Get out of there.
I'm not a weed head.
Because he has an assembly member and a senator and a governor. And you need, if you want to be a part of this, you've got to make sure that they know who you are, what you bring to the table, and why you are the person that should be at the table to assess projected projects, that understands what's going on in communities, and that you really will be able to contribute to the process.
So I have a question. Could you be a business owner and be in the advisory, or is it a conflict of interest?
Yes. So, well, do you
I mean,
mean
no, for the cannabis industry.
No, I don't believe that they're going to appoint. Hold on one second. So I do not believe that they're going to appoint licensees. I do think that they're going to look for people who have an understanding of economic development of their communities and a vision for how to improve the spaces that we live in. So, because those are the people that we want to be able to say, programs or proposals are coming before us, they will be able to assess them and to make a decision on how we're investing the state money.
That is awesome. Horace.
And so I also want to say that's 40. So after the cost of running the agency, all of the surplus, 40% goes to the advisory, 40% goes to education, and then 20% goes to public policy and education for the community. And that is the most broad thing that we can say, that is so that it's not all about enforcement. It's not all about telling people don't smoke. It's really about having public education about cannabis.
And when you're talking about that public education,
yes.
Commissioner, are we going to have workshops? Because one of the most important things is how can the application, the understanding, and what is needed in order to put yourself in the position.
You're not going to wait for the public education program for how to fill out your application. We have a chief equity officer, and their job is to make sure that our social equity program is robust, that it includes education, technical assistance, as well as incubation and training.
So we have this.
That chief. Is already, that person has been hired.
Who's the
We're
person?
waiting for them to go through background checks.
Okay.
So that we can bring them on board. It's Jason Starr. Okay. And he is an attorney. He's done ACLU, Legal Defense Fund. He's most recently with Human Rights. And we're bringing him on to run this program.
Now, go ahead. You can read Horace, but I had a question about a lot of marketing has been, like food related wise, has been aimed towards the children and young folks. For example, some of their pictures and the slogans and similar to candies that they will buy. Are you guys involved with regulating that as well?
We regulate the entire market. Mm-hmm. And right now, everything is rogue because no regulations exist. So all of those things that you might be seeing are illegal. So when you go on Instagram and the person that has the menu options there that you can place an order, they're going to come to your house and deliver, illegal. The person that's selling it at the smoke shop, illegal.
Brownies and the shots, those are all illegal too?
Illegal. If it is THC, it is absolutely. Wait a second. I'm asking you something 1 second because I'm on screen. Thank you. I'm sorry. You guys, I was out at a meeting, and so I'm in the hallway, and I'm going to ask you for a little bit of forgiveness here, but I had to just ask the man to keep moving. He was kind enough to do it for us. So yes, all that stuff is illegal. And we're going to be slowly, I shouldn't say slowly, but we are educating those folks, because one of the things that we want to make sure we're not doing is that we're not going out trying to arrest everybody. The information is all over the place. Some people know and understand it. Some of them think that they're doing right. Some of them think that because we said marijuana is legal in this state, that they can sell it in stores and at street fairs. Mm-hmm. We've got to educate people first. So that is our first step. So this is such an opportunity for me, because I am a full believer that we at the OCM have to own our message and the delivery of it. And we've got to make a point to go out and speak to people and with people about what our rules and regulations are, where we are in the process,
So
that they know, because we don't want it to be an enforcement action. That's going
Right.
backwards.
Oh,
so one of the questions that that I have, and you know, you have a lot of people who have been doing this for a long time, and on the illegal front, especially I guess one of those the dispensary or the whatever, not the the growing too, but
Yeah.
So my question to you is the tax benefits. And one of the things right before we came over, we were talking about some people fear, because, you know, before now I'm making $100,000, $200,000, $100,000 a year by doing this illegally. Yeah, I run the risk of being arrested as a drug lord, right? But the rewards outweigh the risk. How do you at OCM, right? How do you convince that person that is better off, you'll make more or even more money and you don't have to look over your shoulders? How does that conversation work?
A lot of our legacy market folks have been doing this for 20, 30 years. They have had children and families. At this point, they now want to protect their children and their families. So we need to be able to transition them into this regulated market. That's one. So we have to realize that they're not all running rogue, and that, they're not all out there running rogue. Some of them are literally trying to figure out how to legalize their money, how to make it so that they can pass on generational wealth. We're here to assist them. We've got to be able to talk to them and let them know that that there is a pathway for them and that we will assist them in it. It is not, I'm going to say, largely when I speak to legacy market workers, they are prepared to make that transition. However, I'm going to say it's usually those who are a little bit higher in the totem pole. The lower level worker in the legacy market who may not have as much skills, may not have as much cash, and may have never seen $100,000 in a year, we will be providing training and opportunity for them as well. Everybody's not going to open a shop. Everybody's not going to become a grower. But we know that we need to train people, so if they have been growing, that we can get them a growing job, because there will be larger operations of grow. There will be larger operations of delivery. There will be larger operations of dispensaries. We've got to make sure that we get them into those spaces as well.
Now I have
They
a
don't
question.
all have to own a business.
That's true. In regards to growing, I have one or two people that I know who have tried or attempted to grow,
Or still are.
and but they realize that, you know, the sunlight and the sun is so important in making this. You know, they try to grow at home and realize when they do grow at home, they barely get anything. And it seemed, you know, like a wonderful idea until reality turned into, you know, you see, oh my God, I did all of this and I just got this amount. So
Right.
yeah.
So
that
I think that the reality is it takes skill.
mhm,
Like I
mhm.
can grow some plants in my house, but I'm not going to be able to supply a florist.
Yes.
And I think that when we start to appreciate and we start to become more educated on this issue,
Hey,
people will understand that growing
Andre.
cannabis is a skilled art. It is the same as the people who grow roses. It's the people who grow tomatoes and do it well. This is something that people will be trained in. And we don't want everybody growing under lamps. New York City, in particular, cannot handle everybody going on Amazon and buying a home grow system. It'll be like everybody having additional air conditioners. And as you know, we have rolling blackouts in New York City during the summer. We cannot carry that kind of weight on the grid.
Yes.
Right. But I'm going to say,
I just
there's some
interject.
people who grow in their backyards and they have for 20 years and they get what they need.
You know
So
what? But what's
you
the
can do home
financial?
grow right now if you have a medical card, up to 6 plants.
But what I want to get into the whole the money aspect, the banking aspect, because the federal government, we can't deposit those funds into federally insured banks. So the issue we've always talked about in our communities has been opening up credit unions
You're welcome.
and state-owned financial institutions. Uh,
So we at the state can't solve the banking issue because, like you just said, that's federal. What we can do are try to create opportunities for access to capital. That's why we're developing a fund which will be able to provide loans to our social equity applicants, as well as some of our other general applicants and licensees. We're also supporting state chartered banks and credit unions that are willing to bank with our cannabis businesses. As we've seen in other states, a number of the state chartered banks are willing to take the risk of accepting deposits, transferring funds, accepting and processing checks. We have to empower our banks to do the same. The state state chartered banks can do this. We know that we just have to make sure that they understand that there are some best practices that we can pick up from other states. Right. So, for example, about 4 months ago, I was working at the Department of Financial Services, and to help advance this issue, we were already, along with the director of the banking division, we were already engaging the banks in Massachusetts so that we can learn more from them on what we should be doing here in New York.
There is a
thank you.
There's a difference between the state and the federal, and I know that the federal government does not necessarily help to fund cannabis businesses on the local level. Will there be anything done through OCM that will affect getting like maybe a federal loan to open up your franchise on that level now that the OCM has been formed?
Yeah, no, we can't do anything on the federal level. We don't have the power nor the reach. The most important thing that we're doing is supporting our our federal representatives in their work to pass the Banking Act on the federal level. So there's a Safe Banking Act, and that the Safe Act is designed to allow for marijuana or just cannabis transactions to go through federally chartered banks. Where Senator Schumer is carrying the bill. I want to say it was about a week ago that I had a conversation with him about it. It is now airing on like BET and some other online platforms, but we are supportive of their work. And we in New York at the OCM, we want to see this industry grow. We want to make sure that people have opportunity. And so we are very much supportive of the work that's happening on a federal level, but we know that that's not going to solve everyone's issues. We already know that a lot of our small businesses do not get access to capital. That's the reason we're trying to build structures within our system to address those needs. So yes, we need banking to happen. Yes, we're going to support our state charter banks, but also at the OCM, we're trying to figure out ways to generate capital and structures and systems so that people are able to access the capital that they need.
So Tanisha's asking, will OCM be talking to banks regarding allowing cannabis companies to have accounts? So now it's one thing to get the loans, but it's another thing to say, okay, I have this income and I need to be able to establish an account.
Oh, banks are accepting cannabis accounts. Don't go to Chase's and federally chartered banks, but you have to go to your state chartered bank. And your
what are some examples of those?
Spring Bank is a state charter. I think Key Bank is a state charter. Roosevelt Bank. Let's see, what's the credit union over on Broadway? I can't think of it right now.
Bethpage?
Bethpage is a credit union. Yes,
how about MCU?
They're state chartered as well, I believe.
MCU,
so
yes.
MCU,
No.
MCU is federally. It's a federal credit union, I think.
So
but so there, I can't remember all of them. I'm sorry off the top.
But there are a few.
There are
some listing, and I'm assuming there's a site you can go for that.
Right.
So now, this is, I think that I know that we're also pressed for time. So I want to ask you this question. History repeats itself, right? Outsiders come in and take advantage of opportunities that coincidentally became established upon their arrival. So I want to rephrase that question and say, will there be a local address, a New York State address that must go to the people here, as opposed to knowing that now it's in New York and I can capitalize it because A, I have the income, or two, I have the connects to be able to know this person to get this done. Will there be, just like you said, there 50% that's going to set away for these people? Will there be anything set aside to ensure that you're New York State City resident?
Set asides get me sued. And we don't like suing. We don't like going to court. But we are prioritizing those who have been harmed by the war on drugs. And we are prioritizing those who have been incarcerated and or charged with low-level offenses. But we are not saying set-asides. We are not saying that it's only for New Yorkers. While we are creating access points for all New Yorkers to participate however they choose, we are open to companies from outside coming in and applying for licenses because it's an open market. But they need to play by our rules. And most importantly, we're trying to create rules that allow for our New York populations to participate fully in this endeavor. That, I'm going to say, is probably the baseline for us. We have to have a system that is consistently designed throughout the system to support people from New York participating.
That is awesome. You know, I remember that many years ago when I went to Amsterdam, it was great to walk into that dispensary to have my restaurant. Yeah, never participated, but you know, I
don't believe that. Do you believe that?
He went to observe. He was there for observation.
I would say, you know, it's the first time that, John, have you ever been to one of these restaurants in Europe? In Amsterdam, so you have your Arizona, you have your California, you're Jamaican, you're this, you know, you're there, you're able to look and order your food, right? And eat if you chose to, which I never did. I was never that hungry, but it was just cool.
Him not being hungry, exactly. Sounds
right.
Good, right?
We're looking forward to that same type of restaurant.
Exactly, Tanisha.
And that will be some of our consumption licensees,
right?
That will be able to provide you with infused meals so that you can have a flight.
Exactly. You can have a slice here, a slice there, a drink here. You know, interesting question. I think I don't know if, but saying that you can't get Jamaican weed in New York, you can't get California weed in New York, but if it gets here,
it's not going to be legal. If it gets here, we're going to be confiscating that because it's going to be New York grown weed, and we're going to be celebrating it in New York. And this is going to be a New York experience. There you go. And they're going to take
no kush. There'll be no kush. There's no kush coming, right? No kush at all.
Not from out of town.
No kush, no Cali weed.
Do it here, then they've got it. But if they can't make kush in New York, then they can't do it.
So we can't bring the seeds from everywhere. All right. Commissioner, I want to thank. I'm sorry. Before we let you go, Joanne, Dr. Bryant, do you have any questions?
No. I think she answered
wait. Commissioner, we're trying to okay.
What?
Can we talk about so Tanisha wants us to ask a question. Can you talk about the opt-out clause for municipalities?
Yes. So in New York State, communities and municipalities have the ability to opt out of hosting dispensaries and consumption sites. That's it. You do not get to opt out of legalized cannabis.
So cannabis is New York one of those municipalities?
There should be a law that it shouldn't, people shouldn't be smoking it under someone's window. That should be put in place.
But I'm going to say there are Clean Air Act laws already, and we need to enforce them. Yes. So people should not be smoking in apartment buildings. Yes. They're not supposed to be smoking in public parks because the Clean Air Act already establishes that those are no smoke zones.
No.
But that's why we have consumption licenses. Just like we have bars where people can go in and consume liquor.
Right.
This is what a consumption license was designed for. So people have a space where they can go in and consume cannabis products.
You know,
That
I do have
thank you for
one
repeating that.
request. I do have one request.
I'm not making you a cannabis cake for your birthday. No, I'm kidding.
No, seriously. The one request I have is for adults not to smoke the marijuana in their cars with their kids. I just find that
Disrespectful. Disrespectful.
right. And that is very much a pet peeve of mine. I don't care if you smoke. I'm not like Joanne who says don't smoke under my window.
Well, I
Right.
might have a baby here, and I'm
Right.
smelling it inside. It's the
You have
same
a baby.
thing.
You
You
have a
know,
baby.
so it's rude. And
So I think that you've just given us work for our policy team, so that they know that needs to be one of the messages.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think
Particularly, don't smoke in enclosed areas with children.
yeah, that's
One,
I was in school and
on
kids
the
would come to school
side.
with the marijuana on their clothing.
Here, listen to him. He just said she's right.
She's right. She's hot.
She's hot and high. I got it.
I don't know about the second part of that statement, but the she's right part is what we're supporting.
Okay.
He's agreeing with everything I said. You should too.
Right. Yes. So you know
but
that's just it. Yeah.
that's our policy. That is our policy arm. They are tasked with making sure that we continue the messaging that smoking is not good for us. I think that's why part of the newer market, the newer people the folks who are just starting to utilize cannabis are looking for alternatives other than smoke. That's why we were very delayed in introducing flower into the medical program. We finally did it so that we could lower the cost for folks who are using it for medical purposes, because it became very expensive. But we are very much aware and cognitive of the ill effects of smoking. So that will definitely remain part of our public campaign. Do not smoke.
Oh, Tanisha is interested in the cost for the licenses.
That's actually an important question.
And we have not determined that until we produce regulations.
Okay.
So I
That's
can't
so-
conjecture. I can't give you a guesstimate.
Regulate. And please
Can you tell that somebody, one of us, don't want the cannabis business in New York City? Can you tell the commissioner?
No, I just don't want to be offended.
How do you know we're talking about you?
First thing in the morning. I do
Well,
not want to smell it.
How do you know we're talking about you?
I don't want to smell it in my hair. I don't want none of that. Okay.
Wait, what was
Don't
that expression? If something another, if you port the pig, it will squeal or something like that. What's the expression? I don't even know what it is. But I didn't even call a name though.
Because the thing is, it's offensive to me to smoke underneath my window or to smoke in my public, my personal space.
But if you were at your dispensary, you wouldn't have smelled it underneath your window.
No, you won't.
This is not a dispensary outside my window.
No, you didn't hear what I said. I said if you were at your dispensary, then you wouldn't have smelled it under your window in your house.
He's trying to get you a job and work to do.
She didn't get that. She didn't get that. But
all right, but let me run back because
we have a quick question
too, and I've got to run back to that one. But I didn't want to miss this opportunity to chat with you about the
thank you
the
very
work
much,
that we're doing at the OCM.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I would love to come back and chat with you more, especially as we begin to progress and as we roll out our regulations.
Perfect. I thank you, and the villagers, they thank you for everything that you have to offer. I know I'm gonna be asked, how do I get the cannabis business? So you guys will be doing advertisement and stuff like that, right?
Yes. And you can come online, cannabis.ny.gov. You can watch our board meetings. You can see all of the information that we produce and all of the new regulations that we have released thus far.
All right, perfect. I just have to repeat it, cannabis.ny.
Cannabis.ny.gov.
You got that?
Cannabis.ny.gov.
All right, and thank you for coming.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, I will talk to you all later. Have a good one.
All right, you too now.
Too.
I can't wait to start my business. Listen.
Listen, you can't consume what you build. Remember what they say. You can't.
What is it? On your own supply. You can't.
High in your own supply.
You can't get high in your own supply. Notorious B.I.G. Right.
Mm.
I don't plan to get high on my own supply. I
Listen,
do know people have
Taurus
the trees in
I
their backyard.
don't want to smell like Buju Banton bus. Okay, I don't. Not at all.
By the way, just for the record, smelling the marijuana out of your window does
Mhm.
not make you smell like marijuana.
Let me tell you
If there's
something.
no, if you have an
If I walk
exception,
in a hallway
you're not
and
gonna
you're
smell like
smoking,
marijuana.
let me tell you something.
You're
I
not gonna
don't.
smell like marijuana. Don't
Please,
exaggerate. You're not gonna
please.
smell like marijuana.
No,
You might not
no.
like the smell and it's distasteful, but you're not gonna
It
smell like
it
marijuana. You know when you smell like
lingers.
marijuana?
Yeah. No, it does. It does.
You
It
know,
lingers.
no, I'm saying outside
It's
smells like
rude. I
marijuana,
don't
but
care.
you don't smell
It's
like marijuana.
offensive and it's rude. Okay.
To you.
I'm gonna have to look at that
Wait, to you.
Clean Air Act. I'm going to be
So when you sit down and you play with your
reviewing
hair
it
and it's
more and
offensive and it's
more.
rude. Wait, hold on. When you sit down and play with your hair and pull your hair out and it's offensive to other people and rude, you still do it, right? Right?
Well, at least I have hair, so stop it.
Oh,
Okay.
that was rough. That was rough. So what? I cut my dreads off. Leave me alone.
It's
I
all right.
become a
It's
bald
all
head.
right.
So before we Andre, you want to pull the appreciation? Can you get that up on the screen or no? No. Can you just pull up the flyer? No. So because I'd send it out to you. I don't know.
Oh, wait. Before you do that, I have to stop and pause. I have to give a shout out to someone that I missed their birthday 2 weeks ago. I do. Horace White. Colleen, I apologize, but happy belated birthday.
What's the person's name?
Colleen.
Oh, Colleen.
Mhm.
Shame on you.
Yes.
Shame
I
on you.
apologize. And it fell on a Thursday too,
Ooh. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what? While you're saying the happy belated birthday to my uncle, he just turned an age on Monday past. So happy birthday to him. Yeah. All right. So Bishop Bishop Hardin, who is our primary sponsor for this program, is having an appreciation service on Sunday.
Okay.
And those of you out there, if you were not aware, Bishop Dr. Mervyn Hardin will be they will have an appreciation service for him at 650 Remsen Avenue.
What time?
The corner of Avenue A at 6:30. I know that
what day? Repeat
Sunday,
the day.
November 21st.
Thank you.
Sunday, November 21st. I don't know if Andre want to put that up. Sunday, November 21st at 6:30, 650 Remsen Avenue. Please come out and show your support. I mean, without his support, we will not be on the air. So we need to also show him that support as well. And come on and say hello.
Hello.
Say hello. Say hello to the Village Talk Show. Most of us will be out there, so you get an opportunity to say hello. So Joanne. Wait. Before I even go there, the stocks are doing very well, people.
What
last
stock?
year.
Explain.
Oh, did you say explain stocks? Really?
Yeah.
So,
You said the stocks are doing well, so
yeah. Well, overall, so if Andre just remind me for not next week, but the week after. Because next week never mind. Next week is Thanksgiving.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
We will not be on air. Hallelujah.
Andre said Joan is high. Joanne is high. He wishes.
Please.
What was I saying?
Try again.
You were talking about Thanksgiving.
No, not Thanksgiving. So the stocks, right? So what we're gonna try to pull it up in an update. I was actually trying to do the update. If you were following our portfolio, and if you did not invest in them, well, and what we explained earlier in terms of portfolio is that you don't invest in the same industry, all of your stocks, because if that industry goes to haywire, so does your money. So you have to invest across industries, right? So as of 2 weeks ago, for example, if you're doing JetBlue, it went down a lot. However, Netflix, which was one of the stocks that we recommended, went up a whole lot. Tesla went up. It's So if you actually had bought it last year,
Mm.
if you bought 10 shares of it last year,
Mhm.
right, you would now have 50 shares. And of that 50 shares, you'd have 50 something $1,000.
Mm.
So you'd have made over $40,000
Mm.
on your 10 shares.
Mm.
I mean, some didn't do so well, but none of them plummeted to the point where you're going to lose all that money at one time. And then the Bitcoin, it last time I gave you a number real fast. I'm just trying to do that. I don't know if I put it back in, but Bitcoin was at 59,000. It was at 53,000 earlier, and then now it's
About
last
60.
week it was above 60.
60, yeah.
It was above 60. And Ethereum, which is something I've been telling everybody about. Ethereum, when I started telling you about it, it was $197. Right?
No.
It is now, as of last week, I did the exit. And then towards December, let me just double check this to make sure that I got this. In April, it was at $1,100 or $1,900. Is that what I have here? Hold on, John. Yeah, 1,900. Today, not today, last week, Thursday, it was at 3,800. So if you had just bought it, when I told you to buy it at 197, and this was last, hold on, let me just real quick. April, last April. So a year ago, 60 months ago, if you started last April at 197,
Mhm.
you would have now made over $3,500 per share. Right? So if you bought, obviously I need us to tell you, if you spent $1,000 and you bought 10 shares, right? So what's that, 10 times you made over $30,000. Am I doing my math right?
Yeah.
Right? You'd have made over $30,000 only on 10 shares. Just like with if you bought 10 shares of Tesla was, where's Tesla? TSLA. Where's that? Tesla was $96 last April. Right? And that's 5 shares. No, actually, no, I did break it down. I did cut it down. So each share was $96. So if you bought Tesla last April, you would, and right now it's at $1,200.
Wow.
So you'd have made $1,100 on that share. So if you bought, because now you could have actually afforded to buy more Teslas shares. So if you bought the same $1,000, 96, so it's 100 shares, bought 100 shares of Tesla, right? Right now you're looking at over $100,000.
Wow.
If you had made that kind of investment. But I remember I told you, look at the portfolio. I don't want to spend the time on this. We'll do that couple of shows down, I think, when we come back December 2nd for the show. But please do support Bishop Hardin, appreciation service on Sunday. Without him, we're not on the show. So please just come out, show your love. Sunday, November 21st, 6:30 p.m., 650 Remsen Avenue, corner of Avenue A. Meet us. Say hello to the villagers out there when you get a chance to come
I
out.
just want to wish everybody a happy and healthy
Thanksgiving.
Yes.
We want to make sure you take that time to reflect. This time last year, it was quite different as opposed to this year. And just be, not only reflect, but just be thankful. We pray that we see another Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So I want to wish everybody happy and healthy Thanksgiving.
And all the birthdays out there, please make sure that you enjoy it and happy.
Yeah, wish my sister happy birthday on the 27th.
Yeah. My cousin, my cousin, my uncle, my other cousin. Wow, I have 5 birthdays. Coming up from now until November 30th. I have 5 birthdays.
Big up
all of the Llewellyns, the Richards, the Johnsons that celebrating birthdays. Cheryl Gibbs, happy birthday.
Let's take it off.
Joanne, you started a program really excited, right? And just in case you think I forgot, why were you so excited? Go ahead.
I forgot.
Now you're talking about the song. Remember?
Yeah, I was saying that over the weekend, I had the opportunity to work with.
Can you give us back the same excitement at the beginning, yo? It's like you need another shot of weed or something. What's going on?
I don't do weed. You know that.
You need
I
to.
don't do it.
You were
I don't.
excited when you had some earlier. Go ahead.
It wasn't me. Wrong person you're confusing me with.
You don't look like John. You go ahead.
So I had a great opportunity to celebrate life with Horace and his wife, Colleen, actually in Florida last week, but also to meet up with wonderful family and friends. And one of the producers that I had a chance to work with was Lionheart, and he is incredible. We took a few minutes to create a beat, and come on to learn and grow. Welcome.
John wasn't finished.
He said you weren't finished, but that was a good segue, though. I like that.
It's
Go ahead.
okay. It's all right. You could go right into it.
Uh, Go right into it, she said. Of course, the hand on the head again.
Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Give praises to Jehovah, from whom all blessing and knowledge will flow. Blessing and knowledge will flow. The Village Talk Show, dedicating to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life, helping each one of us in realizing our dream at any age, any point, starting from today, day. Success. Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come on to learn and grow.
Great. That will be where's Joanne, can you just tell us who did the piece for us so we can give them credit?
Lionheart. And yeah.
All right, so Lionheart, want to thank you for the beat. And as you can hear, success is not just spoken. Thank you. Cue us on, Andre. So thank you very much for joining us on the Village. We want to wish each and every one of you a very happy Thanksgiving. Just like our new song says, you're here in the Village
Talk Show.
to learn and grow. And we're dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through
Thank you,
education.
Lionheart.
Helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any age, at any point, starting from today. Success is not just spoken, it is done. God bless you and enjoy your weekend.
Light up the weed.
Cannabis,
Lionhouse music. Thank you.
Lionhouse Music, we so appreciate the work. God bless. Good night.
Come on